Good morning, everyone. Welcome, Facebook and YouTube, to the Hyperactive Conservative. I'm John Gale. It is a Friday edition of the program today, May 1st, 2020. Happy May Day. You know, every day on the very first day in May, my sister used to always bring flowers to my mom. It was some sort of weird tradition that she picked up somewhere. I didn't know if this is accurate or not, but she would take some flowers and put them on the doorstep of our home, ring the doorbell and run away. And she has kept doing that for probably 40 years or so. Michelle, you're an awesome sister. Make sure you go out today. Make sure you don't see mom, but knock on her door and leave her some flowers. That would be a very nice gesture on this May Day. Anybody ever heard of that? Make sure you like, share, and follow us. It's a very simple thing to do. Just hit that share button right there, and we would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you start a watch party today. Start a watch party with all of your friends and watch us as we continue with the Hyperactive Conservative on this Friday. I've got some information for you about May. Yes, but believe it or not, May is National Chocolate Custard Month. I'll take that any time of day, not just in May. It's Barbecue Month. It's Clean Air Month. That's kind of appropriate for right now, don't you think? It is Get Caught Reading Month. Lots of reading going on right now. It's Mental Health Month. Aren't you glad? Hamburger Month, Salsa Month, Bike Month, Motorcycle Awareness Month. It's Women's Healthcare Month. It's Older Americans Month. It's National Smile Month. It's National Egg Month. I got a friend who's a chicken farmer. Shelly, I'll have to let you know later. It's National Egg Month, the month of May. National Salad Month, for all of you green people. She likes to make greens, too. And National Strawberry Month. I just had some strawberries yesterday. Dipped them in sugar. It was wonderful. Pardon me while I take a sip of my coffee. Mother's Day is coming a week from this Sunday, gang. Have you ordered your Hallmark cards online? I already did. I did yesterday, or the day before yesterday. And they've already shipped. I'm going to have them in time. Mother's Day cards all around. Hello, Anita. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and follow. Start a watch party today, Anita. That would be very, very cool. Studies show that we're more willing to splurge on mom than dad. Mother's Day coming up on May 10th. A survey found that nearly half of respondents, 48%, are willing to splurge on a gift for mom versus only 38% on a gift for dad on Father's Day. More cards are sold for Mother's Day than on Father's Day, of course. Not too many Father's Day cards. You can't even find them, really. But you know what it shows you? It shows you that society is not really... there's so many deadbeat dads, so many dads that aren't around. And that's sort of the reason. Kind of sad, but it's true. We got some crazy corona news up next for you. It's our funny memes of the day. Here we go. Yeah, baby. You're going to dig these today, I promise you. I really do. For those of you Star Trek fans, look at this. The first wave of people waiting to go back to social gatherings, they're all wearing the red shirts. You know what I mean? Red shirts always means they die first. The red shirts, and if you're not familiar with Star Trek, they're all the extras, usually. The extra crewmen that go down to the planet and fight the big, ugly rubber monster. They're the first to get killed, the red shirts. So the first wave of people waiting to go back to social gatherings, they keep talking about the second wave. It's the second wave. The 1918 flu, it killed millions and millions the second time around. This is nothing like, and they knew nothing of what we know now. I won't get into it, though. We won't get far ahead today. Look at this one. I love this. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's black and white, so it's hard to read. It's a guy standing in the home of his, looks like his living room with a neighbor outside. He says, help, he's holding up a sign. I'm trapped in here with my wife and the Hallmark Channel. Dear Lord, if my wife watches When Calls the Heart, one more episode, I'm going to pull every last hair out of my head. And there aren't that many left, gang. When Calls the Heart. She's a freak about it. They haven't put up season 8 yet, or season 7 or season 8. I forget what it is on Netflix yet. I don't know what the problem is with Netflix. They can't seem to get their stuff together when it comes to, they release things way ahead, but When Calls the Heart, no. And it's very upsetting to my wife and all the women, because we don't have cable television. So, she watches Netflix. So what has she resorted to doing during the coronavirus lockdown? Watching When Calls the Heart over and over and over again. That and the Christmas movies on the Hallmark Channel. This from Prager University. He says, until it's safe means never. Think about that, guys. There's no such thing as until it's safe. Because you know what? Someone will define what safe is. How do you define what safe is? Really? Think about it. Finally, this from Rand Paul today. We should never forget that the Constitution wasn't written to restrain citizens' behavior. It was written to restrain the government's behavior. Governor Rand Paul. Or I think he's a Representative Rand Paul. Sorry about that. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, and it's true. The Constitution wasn't written to restrain us, the people. It was written to restrain the government from getting in our business. They've taken way too much liberty, way too much authority, and really the states have more so than even the federal government. Trump gave authority to the governors to do whatever they want, and many of them think that they are the Lord Almighty himself. Sad, sad, sad. Sad state of affairs that we're in right now. We've got some interesting news coming up. It's what we call breaking news. All right. Hey, welcome, Anita. Thank you. Good morning to you as well. Interesting news from Fox News today. House Minority Representative Steve Scalise calls for answers in the Michael Flynn case and weighs in the debate of funding for states in the next COVID-19 relief package. In a light of bombshell FBI documents that revealed an alleged scheme to set up the then National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, Representative Steve Scalise, a Republican from Louisiana, told Fox News on Friday today that the FBI was getting ready to close the Flynn case, but anti-Trumper agent Peter Strzok's pushed it to continue. Listen to this. Strzok's had motivations against Donald Trump, not as a cop trying to find out facts, the House Minority Whip argued. He and his attorney, Lisa Page, were both dirty cops in the beginning. It looks like they were trying to literally set a trap for him. Meanwhile, the release of the FBI documents that show officials discussing their motivations for interviewing Flynn in the White House in January of 2017 and openly asked questions if their goal was to get him to lie so we can get him prosecuted and fired. Scalise urged the United States Department of Justice Attorney General William Barr to look into the case. They have a motivation against Trump, and against Flynn, even though the evidence didn't show that they should move forward. He's the only one who pushed it anyway because he had anti-Trump motivations. That's not the kind of person you want to have a badge. That's the definition of a dirty cop, Scalise said. Hey, Alan, thanks for joining in. Hit that share button, Alan. Start a watch party. It'd be lots of fun, I promise. The New York Post is reporting today that an emergency physician at St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx, he says, I've been in the ER every day the last 3 weeks, either supervising or providing direct care. I contracted a COVID-19 infection very early in the outbreak, as did two of my daughters, one who was a nurse, and they are all well. He said COVID-19 has been the worst healthcare disaster in his 30-year career because of its intensity, duration, and potential for long-lasting impact. The lasting impact is not what worries me the most. It is why now I believe we should end the lockdown and rapidly get back to work. A large share of those staying home surely have emergency and surgical conditions not related to the coronavirus. The growing numbers dying at home because the crisis must include fatal myocardia, infractions, asthma exacerbations, and bacterial infections and strokes. Meanwhile, our pediatric volume in the ER has drastically reduced. Visits to primary care physicians are also down, with vaccine schedules falling behind. Everyone seems to be avoiding the health system, an important and unfortunate consequence of the stay-at-home strategy. Fear misguides the public, the doctor says. While COVID-19 is serious, fear of it being amplified is way more serious. The public needs to understand that the vast majority of infected people do quite well. COVID-19 is far more prevalent than we think. Many New Yorkers have already contracted the COVID-19 infection, whether they're aware of it or not. And as of today, over 43% of those tested are positive in the Bronx. We're developing a significant degree of natural herd immunity. This is what you keep hearing about, this herd immunity. And they have studies between Norway and Sweden. One locked down, Sweden did not, Norway did. And all the numbers are basically the same percentages, whether you lock down or not. There's videos of doctors that have been taken down from YouTube because they don't fit the narrative, of doctors saying that we should be touching our faces, that we shouldn't wear masks, and we shouldn't be socially distancing. This doctor says he believes distancing works, but he's skeptical that it is playing a predominant role, as many think. You know, it's funny, they used to say, oh, 6 feet is not, it was 6 feet, and then they changed it to 13 feet, and now somehow 6 feet has stayed the actual, amount of feet away that you're supposed to be, the official distancing. Doesn't make any sense. When you sneeze, it goes out no matter what. That's why they want you to wear the mask, to prevent the particulates, the droplets, from throwing over into aisle B, at the local Kroger's. However, the masks do nothing to protect you from breathing in COVID-19 virus germs, the bacteria that's floating around in the air when someone sneezes. It does nothing to protect you from that, just the actual droplets. And only if you have the virus, if you're positive. If you're not positive, why are you wearing a mask? Makes no sense. But yet, everyone's being forced to wear one. More testing and better established numbers will drop down the number of fatalities. The more positive infections, the lower the mortality rate. Meanwhile, moving on today. Sorry, I don't mean to stick with something and beat a dead horse, but it just gets on my nerve. Elon Musk, he's pretty upset. Filled with expletives, Elon Musk doubled down on his stance against the shelter-in-place orders introduced by various United States states in recent weeks in an effort to stop the coronavirus spread. The Tesla chief executive didn't mince words on Wednesday during a conference call following the company's surprise first quarter profit, when he said Tesla forced factory shutdowns were a serious risk to the electric car maker's business. Frankly, I would call it forcibly imprisoning of people in their homes, Musk said, against all of their constitutional rights, in my opinion. He said if breaking people's freedom in ways that are horrible and wrong, it's breaking their freedoms, and not why they came to America or built this country. What the blank, Musk said. Excuse me. Outrage, outrage. Terry Shope, thank you for joining in. Alan, thanks for tuning in. Start a watch party, guys. Hit that watch party button. Hit that share button. Let everybody know about the Hyperactive Conservative. We're seriously trying to get some more subs. Switching over to the new channel. It dropped the number of people subscribing. But I wanted to have a separate channel for the political stuff as opposed to the radio stuff. So that's why I did it. I think it's important. I really do. Moving on to our next story today from the American Military News. Here's pictures and video of hundreds of people storming the Michigan Capitol to protest the state lockdown. You're going to want to watch some of this video right here. Can't really make it any bigger, guys. I apologize for that. Lots of people, lots of flags storming the Capitol building in Michigan today. Protesters have been congregating to protest in Lansing. People gathering to urge lawmakers to vote to end the emergency order. Hundreds of Michiganders stormed the state on Thursday, one day after a judge declared Governor Whitmer's stay-at-home order constitutional and necessary. The demonstrations, let me turn this down, I know it's quite loud for you, I apologize for that. The demonstration was organized by Michigan United for Liberty. It is the latest in a series of public protests citizens have taken against Whitmer and her order on calling lawmakers to reopen the state. Wow. Hope you can hear me over that. Hey, Bev, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you start a watch party. Hit the share button. Newsweek. An opinion piece from Rick Jackson. Most U.S. hospitals are empty. Soon they might be closed for good. Thousands of healthcare workers, tens of thousands, across the United States are going without pay today, even as providers in the nation's hotspots struggle to contain the coronavirus pandemic. The tale of two hospitals, it's a clumsy function. If well-intentioned federal and state directives to halt all non-emergency procedures, which appeared at first blush to be a reasonable precaution to limit unnecessary exposure and safeguard staffs, beds, and hospitals, but instead of merely preserving hospital beds and other resources, this heavy-handed injunction has created a burden of its own design, a historic number of empty beds and systems left untouched by the pandemic. Those hospitals have resorted to unprecedented levels of furloughs to stave off temporary budget shortfalls. But industry and economic trends point to more lasting outcomes unless immediate action is taken. At 18% of the U.S. economy, healthcare is a $3.6 trillion industry annually. By barring all elective surgeries, which covers a huge array of operations like knee reconstructions or even cancer biopsies, hospitals have been denied billions of dollars in revenue in just 1 month alone. Outpatient services account for half of all hospital revenue, which means hospitals are now making and spending half of what they were at this time last year. It's not surprising, then, that the industry shed a record 43,000 healthcare workers in the first month of the crisis. Experts expect equal or greater layoffs this month when the sustained forbearance has made revenue even more urgent. Even before the crisis, 1 in 4 rural hospitals were vulnerable to closure. Now many of these systems have more empty beds than ever before. We need to open up our hospitals. And here's a good question for you. Hey, Shane Ritchie, thanks for tuning in, brother. Glad to see you, man. That's awesome. Give us a big thumbs up, Shane. I'd appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, my friend. This is what bothers me the most, guys. How come doctors or dentists now, at least in Ohio, dentists are now allowed to do procedures again? But for some reason, and we'll talk about him in just a moment, our Governor Mike DeWine and his puppet master, Dr. Adkin, has declared that barbers and hairstylists are not allowed to do haircuts, and they won't even give a date yet as to when they'll be able to cut your hair again. So now I've got a ponytail halfway down my back. But regardless, what's the difference? I would say it's way worse to be in someone's mouth doing a surgical procedure, perhaps pulling a tooth, fixing a cavity. There's blood, spit, everything else going on. And you've got your masks and your gloves on, but you can't cut somebody's hair with gloves and a mask? That's kind of idiotic if you ask me. What do you guys think? Comment below and let me know. And speaking of which, the Stay Safe at Home Ohio order has extended until May 29th now, with some exceptions. During Thursday's press conference on the coronavirus in Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine announced the state's stay-at-home order will be extended. Last Thursday, the Ohio Department of Health released information on a new order by the governor that extends the stay-at-home protocols until May 29th. The stay-at-home order will be extended with some exceptions, Mike explained. When retail opens up, that certainly will be a major exception for that. Certainly, it's an exception in just a few days when manufacturing and other companies are allowed to start back, so it will be extended. That's a bunch of gobbledygook, if you ask me, Mike. Terry Shope, thanks, brother. You say it stinks. It really does stink, because I need a haircut bad. The ODOH's release says the order now called the Stay Safe Ohio. It could be changed. The order could be changed if Director Dr. Amy Acton modifies it at a sooner date. So who's really pulling the strings? Mike DeWine or Dr. Atkin? The new order states all individuals currently living within the state of Ohio are ordered to stay at home or at their place of residence, except as follows. You can go to the retail shops beginning May 12th, as long as you follow strict rules to keep both customers and employees safe. And he's not yet announced when restaurants, barbershops, salons, and other service industries can reopen. But he has set up a group to make their reopen possible. Oh, thanks, Mike. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for doing that. I always wanted a ponytail, Helen says. My sister Bev. Yes, I do. I need a haircut. Let me tell you. I got the Fonz thing going on. It is so long, guys. I'm telling you. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Hot Christmas. I'm Mr. 101. They call me Heat Miser. Whatever I touch melts in my clutch. I'm too much. Stay safe and go broke, Ohio. The government will take care of you. That's what the Indians were told. So let's move on to Michigan for our favorite governor, Gretchen Whitmer. On Thursday, she extended the Michigan State of Emergency and Disaster Declaration through May 28th. She's got it up on Mike DeWine, hours before it was set to expire. And after hundreds of protesters, as we just watched on video, some of whom were armed, gathered in the state capitol building to voice their displeasure with the Democratic governor, Whitmer also took shots at the Republican-controlled legislature for refusing to extend the order earlier in the day. She waited to the last minute just to be a butthead. By refusing to extend the emergency and disaster declaration, Republican lawmakers are putting their heads in the sand and putting more lives and livelihoods at risk, she said in a statement. I'm not going to let that happen. I got to show you this one more time, guys. This Prager University meme. There's no such thing as until it's safe. It means never. Until it's safe means never. Do you get it? Your liberties are being taken away under the guise of staying safe. Who determines what safe is? It's not safe if you drive a car. You could be hit by a car and have an accident. Matter of fact, there are more deaths from car accidents than there are from COVID-19. So what does that mean? We better stop driving. We can't drive. The emergency declaration gives Whitmer additional powers to issue executive orders during an emergency. She claimed she had the emergency authority regardless of what the state lawmakers did, because I'm God. I don't care what the president says. I'm going to do what I feel is best. I'll be the last state to open, so I'll be the safest and be reelected. Or better yet, I might be the vice president pick for Joe Biden. In a rejection of the government, the State House and Senate adopted resolutions Thursday to legally challenge her authority and also approved a bill to allow some of her mandates, but not her stay-at-home order, which expires May 16th. No lawsuit has been filed as of Thursday night. Moving on. Tony Katz, radio personality. Let me jump ahead here. Has revealed. Hang on a second. I think I got the wrong story up here, and I got to make sure that I've got the right one that I'm reading. Imagine that. Governor Gretchen, we got her taken care of. Let's move on to, here we go, Tony Katz. The story is here as the woman who in 1993 said she was pressed up against the wall. This is Tara Reid. The sexual allegation against presidential candidate Joe Biden, that he sexually assaulted her. She told a roommate, she told a relative. Her mother called into Larry King live on TV. I don't know if you've seen that clip. I remember when that actually happened. She stated that she is more credible at this stage than Christine Blasey Ford ever was. And the only way to get an answer is through some level of investigation. An investigation needs to take place. Well, as of March 25th, a day after Tara Reid's story resurfaced in an article at The Intercept, none of the major media networks were covering the story. Imagine that. By April 30th, CBS, NBC Nightly News, and ABC World News Tonight had all given the allegations just a minute of airtime. However, MSNBC only gave it 33 seconds of coverage. And guess what? CNN didn't include it in its newscasts at all. What does that tell you? Biased fake news, gang. First of all, it is interesting that the coverage comes after the talking points from the Biden team finally has come out. I think that's a pretty interesting 1-2 punch, says Tony Katz, radio personality. It's very hard to cover a story when you haven't determined all of your talking points, and I think maybe some others are still trying to figure it out, and that's part of the problem. This shouldn't be a talking point story. This should be, we have a woman making an allegation. We have other people who heard the allegation. We have phone calls in, people who have talked about it for decades. And we have the Biden team that isn't allowing certain records out. Interesting what's going to play out with Joe Biden. Alan John says, ban banana peels. We better ban banana peels. Did you see the meme from yesterday where one of the screenshots from a local news station, they misspelled bandanas, and they said that you should wear masks, scarves, or bananas on your face. So a bunch of people are taking pictures of themselves with bananas all over their face. But we should ban them. We should ban bananas because you could slip and fall and die. You know there are more accidents in the bathroom than anywhere ever in the whole house. People slip, fall, they die in the bathtub. We should ban bathing. Moving on. Interesting and weird news from Madonna. She's revealed that she tested positive for the coronavirus antibodies. The 61-year-old singer, wow, she's old. I didn't realize how old she was getting. She made the announcement in her Quarantine Diary series on Instagram. Oh, okay, that's what it's about. She's probably got a couple million followers. It involves the Queen of Pop, self-proposed Queen of Pop, posting videos of herself in a dark room as she narrates out loud what she's typed on a typewriter. Took a test the other day. I found out that I had the antibodies, so tomorrow, maybe I should do it in a fake English accent like she put on during the late 80s. I'm just going to go for a long drive in the car, and I'm going to roll down the window, and I'm going to breathe in. You know, what a weird thing to say. If you tested positive for COVID-19, what are you doing driving around in your car with the windows down anyway? She says, I'm going to breathe in the COVID-19 air. Madonna said aloud in the clip captioned Quarantine Diary number 14. Last month, the pop icon revealed that she had lost 3 friends to the coronavirus in 24 hours, which included her cousin, her security guard's brother, and music executive Orlando Portico, he's probably from Puerto Rico, who worked on many of Madonna's singles. What a strange thing to say. It's just like she's seeking media. Another 15 minutes. I can get another 15 minutes out of this has-been singer, the Queen of Pop. Fox News, a stewardess, I don't think they call them that anymore, has revealed that airline health regulations would help increase confidence in aviation and keep passengers and essential workers safe. She posted this tweet. Enough, she wrote in all caps, along with a picture of a packed plane with bare-faced passengers. I see a couple people wearing masks there. This was today on a 4-hour flight. This is not okay. Masks must be mandated by the DOT and the HHS in airports and on airplanes. Essential travel only with proper PPE for everyone. What are you supposed to wear a full boy in the plastic bubble suit to be on a plane? Now, I think it's important. You're on a plane. Lots of viruses can filter around. Why can't they invent some kind of I know they have these special ultraviolet light filter things for businesses now that totally, reduce antigens in the air by like 90-some%. Why don't we have those in airplanes? Maybe we do. Alan says, ban bathrooms, ban Madonna. Alan's on a roll today. Bev says she better get a bodyguard or several bodyguards. She might commit suicide. And Jerry says Joe's not going to win anyway. No, he's not. He's not going to win. But what I think is going to happen with Joe is I think he's going to be labeled, having dementia or early onset Alzheimer's or something like that. Somebody needs to give Joe a clock test, by the way. Where you draw the numbers on a clock. It's one of the first determining factors that you're kind of losing it a little bit. Joe needs one of those. Somebody do that for him. Because his gibberish, they think Trump's stupid. Hello. Fell asleep in a press conference online with Hillary right next to him endorsing him. He's like, I feel sorry for the guy. He really does have some cognitive issues going on. He had brain surgery, I guess 20-some years ago. Maybe it has affected his brain. Something has. But I think he's going to bow out and either Michelle Obama or Hillary's going to jump in there. That's what I think is going to happen. What do you think about this airline situation, though? I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be on a plane without a mask. I really wouldn't. I mean, it already feels like you're breathing in stale, disgusting air. That's kind of sad, but it's the way it is right now. Poor airline industry. Let's give them another bailout. What do you say? Finally today, here's some good news. Drive-in theaters have provided nostalgic connection during the coronavirus pandemic. Drive-in theaters have gained popularity during the pandemic. There are over 300 drive-in movie theaters across the country, and for those that are open, booming business for them. Many drive-ins are finding ways to practice social distancing, removing a space between each car being at least 10 to 12 feet apart, while feeling the financial impact of the distancing because of COVID-19. Thousands of people across the country are staying home to stop the spread. But an old school activity, it's making a comeback. I used to love going to the drive-in when I was a little kid with my parents. I know I've got a good picture here. Hang on a second. Yeah, here's what I mean by the practicing the social distancing. You see all these spaces in between? They're marked off with orange fencing, plastic fencing, so you can't go any closer. The Starlight Drive-In Theater in Atlanta was forced closed in March when the coronavirus hit. Despite the pandemic, the theater reopened last week. I wonder if they did that legally. Residents are packing the theater, all in the comfort and the safety of their vehicle. What is wrong with staying in your car? In Michigan, you can't even drive. You're not even allowed to take a drive. That's our Governor Whitmer, our favorite governor. According to the United Drive-In Theater Association, there are over 300 drive-in theaters across the country, and the revival of drive-in movie theaters is spiking nationwide. That's awesome news. That gives you a feeling of, going out, a feeling of being normal again, watching the drive-in movies. Awesome report from Fox News in regards to a little happiness happening right now during the crazy coronavirus news. And that's going to be it, guys, for today's edition of the Hyperactive Conservative. Make sure you share this video, rewatch it, start a watch party, hit like, and invite all of your friends and family to tune in. You can subscribe and follow us. Very easy. All you got to do is hit that follow button right underneath us. Hit that thumbs up. And we'll see you next time on the Hyperactive Conservative. God bless you. Have a great day. Make sure you wash your hands. Bye-bye.